Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
The meeting will please come to order. We do have proof of posting in accordance with Chapter 551 as amended known as the Texas Open Meetings Act. Any members of the public who wish to speak shall each have 5 minutes. Then we will go to item number 1, interlocal agreement between the Park Texas Council of Governments and Freestone County for E91 database maintenance services. Which is the 911 services that are provided. The hot cob provides the equipment that's needed, and we provide the place and provide the services. And there is no funds that change hands.
Is this something we do every year?
It is.
Is it changed since last year? Make a motion to accept.
And we will, when we go to the new building, they are going to bring us new equipment,
Okay.
and they furnish that.
I'll make a motion to go to the interlocal agreement. I'll say.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Item number 2 is to set the sheriff's and constable's fees for 2024. It's my understanding that there will be no changes from last year.
Motion we set the sheriff and constable's fees for 24, same as they were last year, what they're asking for. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item number 3 is budget review. There is a list of changes that have been made. And I think all of these are ones that have been discussed except the DA's office. We did not include in the new budget the $2,500 raise because you have to be employed by August the 16th. And it's my understanding that he does have someone that is now employed. So they would get that raise. I didn't see you sitting there this morning.
Yeah, no ma'am, it's fine. He's starting, just to be clear, he's starting on Wednesday. So I don't know if that's before the break or after the break, but that's when he's starting.
So we need to add that $2,500 into the budget.
So that's not in this new.
No, we're gonna have to make that change on here and on the budget. It's written in up here already. DA 2,500.
Is it an open position? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And he's starting Monday morning.
Starting Wednesday.
Wednesday morning. I mean.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that will be before we do the budget. That's
Yes, ma'am.
through the budget, so we will. Great. Is there anything you want to discuss on the list of changes? I think everything else is what we have agreed on changing. Do you want me to go through each one of these?
new IT person is gonna make? What salary?
It's budgeted, it's in,
$6,000.
631 county.
631 county services. And the budgeted amount is 65,000, but then that's plus, benefits and hospitalization. And we will,
Well, I just see on this thing, on this new position, IT 631 county services, I see 91,548.84. I didn't know what that meant.
well, that's the
Is that
65 plus the FICA, which is, FICA, the Medicare part, .0145, and retirement, .1685, plus hospitalization, $10,623.84.
That's what brought it to 91,000.
So when you hire somebody, it costs a lot more than what we say salaries are. A lot more benefits these days.
Explain the ambulance deal, the 150.
Well, we budgeted both of them at 130, and then when
Okay.
he
One
came,
went up 20.
went up
That's right.
20.
Okay.
So the bill on TIG, it was already in this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was already in there, yeah.
Just to be sure.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I'm positive.
Yes. TIG and Fairfield were both at 130 when we did the proposed, and then we did add to Fairfield. And when we show move to Fund 90 for the jail, 642, that is, that Fund 99 is the Senate Bill 22 funds.
And that'll carry through to January 1st.
Maybe the 15th. We may not get the money by the 1st.
They said 4 to 6 weeks from the time we apply,
And that, when can we apply?
January 1st.
And then
May
it's
not be
going to
enough
be much
then.
longer than that. then.
Exactly.
Well, no, you figured it at 48 or something like that, didn't you? That's why you did said 75.
Exactly.
So
Because
it's
we're 5
another
months,
6
we're 5
weeks.
months. You got October, November, December,
Yeah,
and then January and February.
yeah. Okay. But did increase it a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So that's why I went from 56 to 75.
That's what we anticipated that it will be. Because originally, all of the jail was budgeted in the jail. And so the amount that's going to apply, that we believe will be that part paid by 22. Everything was budgeted and shown in the general fund. And then Karen wants to pay out of the general fund's expenses, and out of Fund 99, out of there. So since we budgeted it all beginning there, we transferred that over, those expenses over to that fund. Any discussion on the prior changes that we had talked about?
Good, I've got a couple questions about precinct two, I don't know if it's the proper time to do it or.
It is. We had discussed this, I guess, was it Friday, Thursday,
Yeah,
Friday? About whether, how we're gonna handle it whenever,
Let me start by telling you, nobody, I'm not opposed to any change, because in 42 years in banking, I went through 5 changes in ownership, and there's been a lot of changes done, so I try to make things work as they come to me. But what I'm trying to figure out is exactly what the Commissioner Court stance is gonna be on our office over there as far as help. Melissa, again, is gonna be leaving, not sure exactly what her leave date is, but she's gonna be leaving. We did finally get a part-time person hired, just a couple of weeks ago, actually, which has been, I think it's maybe the 3rd week. So we've got some training that's got to go on that. And the first thing on, discussed about the emails, the email address. Some of the items, the public service reporting system, for one thing, they won't let you use a Yahoo account because it's not as secure as a county account. Some of the training that the Texas Justice Court offers to JPs and clerks, you've got to have a separate address, an email address. Well, we thought about if we could get an address that was like for training or for part-time clerk 2 or something like that. And then the question came up, well, if you do that, then all of Melissa's got saved under JP, the clerk 2, or exactly that structure, would go away. But we wouldn't be deleting that account, we'd be deleting the part-time clerk or whatever like that. So that shouldn't affect what Melissa's got saved in there when she leaves. But I don't know if that's, I mean, there's $5 a month something charged to that, to have that account, I think that's right.
but now Melissa's is not a Yahoo account, is it?
No.
Okay.
She's got, the regular county email, and I think it's clerk 2 or something for Freestone County. But they won't let them share, I guess it's the training court, that they won't let them share an account.
We can do that, but I would suggest that you keep that one that Melissa has.
No, and again, if we had a different account that the new lady's gonna use, then when she moves up to that account, if that's the case, or we would delete that account and keep the other one.
Okay.
The other question I've got is kind of what the court's plans are on that office as far as help goes. I think there's been some discussion about, since the 2 officers are combined, and that has worked out okay. We've still got a space problem we've got to work out. But again, there were people that were definitely opposed to that, and I wasn't really in favor of it, but I was going to make it work. And it's worked. It's working out all right. There's been a few problems, but other than that, I think we're going to work through that. But as far as maybe someday, if the thought is to go to, one clerk for both those offices, I quite frankly don't think that will work. And us get the work done, it's got to be done. There's a lot of work in those JP offices. And I've spent all, because I don't know if it's getting into my age or not, but it's been a pretty tough learning curve for me to learn what I've got to do. So I hadn't had time to worry too much about or try to learn what the clerk does every step too. And I don't know if that's kind of the direction the court's thinking about going, but I just don't, and you sure can't have one clerk in there and pay them what we're paying. I don't think, because when
when you pay somebody $12 or $15 an hour, especially the 12, you know, they might not be actively out applying for jobs, but they got their ears open. Takes probably a year before they really get confident in what they're doing. And then, I mean, I've been in it long enough to know they'll leave you for 50 cents an hour. And I'm not trying to get her, I just kind of want to know what my new hire, because I think our last conversation, you know, we were going to work through that as we got
Revisit
to
it
it.
whenever the time comes. So
But,
you don't know
you know,
when Melissa's gonna leave?
Well, no, I really don't. They thought they would have their house finished by the 1st of September, and it looks like it's gonna be a little bit longer than that. And so, I mean, that's another problem, we gotta work out how long we can keep her. You know, selfishly, I'd like to keep her as long as I could, you know, because it helps in the training on the other one. But, you know, I don't know if the goal is to get down to where we've only got one clerk in there, maybe one clerk and a part-time clerk, or kind of what the thinking is, you know, because I haven't told my part-time girl that she was gonna go full-time when Melissa left, but I've told her that there was a possibility that would happen. And if she's, you know, I may tell her if we were not gonna have her full-time, moving to Melissa's place, you know, I don't know if she may walk out. I mean, I didn't tell her we were gonna do that. I told her, you know, that was, you know, a possibility that she could move in full-time if the court, you know, wanted to do that. But if I go back and tell her, you know, well, sorry, it's gonna be a part-time position, you know, she may walk out too, I don't know. But we got very few applications. And, you know, you don't, on part-time, my understanding is you don't have to advertise in the paper, but I talked to a good many people, I say good many, 4 or 5 people, that I thought would be good, that just, you know, didn't work out, they just weren't interested. So we ran it in the paper for 3 weeks, and, you know, we ended up with 5 applicants. 2 of them were actually associated with the courthouse already, so I don't think they necessarily saw it in the paper. And then one of the ladies that we thought about work called and said she decided she was going to say where she was. Another one that we kind of wanted to hire called and she'd taken another job before. I think the day after she interviewed with us. So, you know, there's not a lot of people out there wanting to work. Now I'm sure y'all were out there in the courthouse, but, you know. But anyway, I just kind of need to know kind of what the goal is or the plan is, or, you know, I don't know. You know, y'all are elected to run the business of the county, and I think you do a good job. But, you know, I'm also elected to run that office efficiently. And I don't think I can do it with one clerk in there for both offices. I mean, maybe I can, and if that's the way the court decides to go. I'm gonna try to make it work, but I've got real questions, especially now that I'm new too. That, you know, I don't know. I've got some, but I think I need to just kind of know what direction y'all are thinking you're gonna want to go. I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of where I am.
These pay sheets where,
It's hard to tell, that's what I was
I was
looking
just
at.
asking, where's the rest of the money for JP2 and JP4?
2 and 4 you add together, but on this, there's only 2. Let's see this. Can you tell us what her actual salary is? We have it on the computer, what, since we pay out of 2, or
Are we talking about Melissa, or are we talking about Ashley, or who's salary?
Both of them.
I apologize to the court. I'm still trying to figure out the operations in my office and then the operations of the county business too. So I mean, it's not that anything necessarily going to change on this budget. I'm just trying to figure out where we are going forward.
And if we don't change anything today, if we decided, when she did leave or close to that time, we could make that decision, but whatever. We'll get these figures and see what's going
Yeah.
on.
I appreciate any consideration, but I just have some real reservations of whether one clerk. There may be a clerk negative about anybody. There may be a person out there that can handle that office, maybe with a part-time person. But I don't think that's what they're just one time. Neither say negative about anybody.
We should have got that full time.
I'll just say what we had looked at before, when that decision was made, were the number of cases that were filed. You know, we could add 2 and 4 together, and that number wasn't even as much as 1 or 3 were individually. So that was the discussion, and you had said, you know, there were lots of calls that come in, which is,
And I
has to be
understand that, I mean,
considered.
your position, college, you look at items in the budget the same way, and I understand that. I mean, I've been in.
I'm just giving a little
No, I
background as to
understand.
what we talked about.
But, you know, I don't, no way for me to know what goes on in somebody else's office, but I know that our clerks stay very busy, and every time the legislature meets, there's another form to fill out, or another report to do, or this or that. And I don't know, I mean, Melissa's an unusual situation for Debbie to have, for me to have, but she's not with her anymore, and I know how busy she stays, and I just can't fathom one person doing both of the jobs. I mean, they make him get the things done that that you've got to do every day, but there's a lot of things, like, for instance, they're going through now trying to get all the backlog stuff, that's, some of it's, the statute of limitations run on it, some of it, and trying to get those cleaned up. Well, you know, that stuff probably would never be done. They've gotten behind on it through the years. I understand that's a problem that all this people across the state have. Even some of them have got 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, and the bigger counties have got that in some part-time. But anyway, I don't compare myself back to obviously we're not like that. But I just think it's going to be a tough sled. I think most of any liability with the state or the justice court or everywhere else would come back on me. But there might also be some repercussions to the county. I don't know that. But anyway, that's kind of my thinking on it. Do what you can. And it's possible, like I say, I guess I'm looking at it selfishly in a way, because I know what I'm going to be in if it doesn't work. But, you know, if we could go like we're going with a full-time person in both first, and then we saw that in a year or so, maybe it might look different, you know. Anyway,
We're funding 2 full-times now. But we're doing lists how we doing it.
That's what they don't.
yeah,
That's why they're getting that additional.
That's kind of hard to tell. I mean, again, I'm still trying to get used to I'm not saying it's wrong, but I mean.
I think we budgeted half last year, because I think they thought that maybe she was gonna be gone. Then we've added more money into the salary line items to cover her salary, so, but it looked like, you know, right there on 552, you see 82222 change clerk to 9975 from 34580. That was at last year at this time. From 34,580.
And I know on Melissa leaving, I mean, it's not really our problem to get the house finished. But I mean, you know, the longer we can keep her to get our new lady trained, it's better off. It's going to be in the office. But I don't know. I mean, I know that they'll be gone. You know, I hate to say before the end of the year, but I know they'll be gone before the end of the year, for sure.
38 seats.
Well, they didn't make different amounts, so.
I looked at this one.
Ashley,
Christina, 39 too. Keep in there 6 hours.
so,
Write that down.
it's making 32 over the year, plus the 15, which would take
This only had, went to 2,500, this is what it is.
Yes, that's
Okay.
because it was 33,600.
That's what we've been paying.
So, yeah, so.
I'm trying to figure out if that doesn't add up. I mean, I know that this is huge, so.
It's a little confusing, but we were thinking that if,
Oh, because they were doing like 3 months, what it would have been for 3 months.
that's with
it was December.
Yeah.
If you want to look at this is kind of based on what we looked at before. JP two, JP four. And then, the most recent we have is June, because we don't have July. For July, we don't have the reports for JP one or JP two. This JP red, 53. This is just, this is not a full report because they haven't turned theirs in yet.
Correct.
Okay. We want to look at
So both of those positions at 36.
I don't know, what have we got budgeted, that's the main thing, I'm trying to figure out what.
Well, we may have, it'll depend, if we just budgeted for a few months for Melissa, since we thought it was gonna be just the one secretary. So we'd have to make an adjustment if we do that. Because if you look at it, there's a half a clerk salary and a half a clerk salary in 2 and 4. And then I'm looking at the whole number.
That was a little bit unexpected to me. I wasn't real sure exactly.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
my salary, we had
I don't have it.
Melissa, and then we had half of her salary. We had the part-time. That's how it was.
Here's today.
We got brand new.
Oh, okay. 2 and 4. JP clerk, see Melissa.
Guess on that amount, we just need to know how many months that was for, right? To be able to calculate it.
Oh, one of these. You're gonna have to explain it to me again.
Let me do my ads in here.
Okay.
I think if you take Ashley's amount and add that 11,413.12 to it, and then add another 11,413.12 to it, that should get what we say she would make with the 2,500. I think when we figured this up last year, because the only difference I did this year was add the 2,500 to the amounts with the 1,520 added in.
That 11 and that 11. But now,
But I think last year, when it was figured, and I was told to put it in there, it was for 3 months. Because she was supposed to go through
and the
December.
13, and the 13. So it's the 11,413 twice, and the 13,273. And that's, will all be in the one, if there's just one. Is that right?
Which makes the 36-1.
Which makes the
Which would be
36-1.
what I'm saying.
Which makes the 36-1. And then there's
Actually,
just,
still amount would be.
the part on JB2 is just for, the length of time that Melissa will be here. So,
So nothing's there after Melissa's gone, this was in the budget.
at
for
this
next year.
time, at this time. Pass it on down. This is just the last report that was done. That's the activity, so they have shown that to you. You want that in your packet. Are we gonna address this today as to how we're gonna proceed, or are we waiting until the time comes to address that? However, Well, it'll be probably 4 or 5, 6 months from now.
Why don't we wait till we, till the leaves or whatever, and also get those reports to look at them to see, if we can get some better information over the next 4 or 5 months.
If we're gonna do it like that, do we need to add some more part-time
We will.
money?
We will if we do it that way. We'll just have to, when the time comes, we'll have to look at that and make some changes. We do have enough money in contingency that we can do that, depending on what the court decides.
Let me give you just an update on the building deal where, like I say, it's worked out okay. I think it's been a few things coming, phones and that kind of stuff. I didn't really anticipate, I don't tell you either, but all that's being ironed out. What we really are in a bind for over is storage space. As far as any other improvements to the building now, of course, we got, I don't know if anybody's air conditioner is keeping up now, but it gets pretty warm in there, like they said, it's working, it's working, it's just not keeping up, you know, so I think everybody's fighting that. But the storage deal is where we're really in a bind. I mean, it's already kind of that way, but with the other office being there, you know, they have to move boxes to get the boxes that they need, and then you move them back. So, I mean, I'm sure everybody, sheriff's office, everybody has probably fights that same problem, but that's our biggest need as far as the building.
And we have talked about that.
Yeah, I just haven't been by there to look, I've been going, just been on, never that hard at you.
Anyway, well, I appreciate the consideration on that, and we'll just work through it as we go.
Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Any other discussion on the budget? If not, we have a motion to.
Judge, I noticed that we had the 2 new positions under the 99 fund were taken back out.
Well, we haven't really set that fund, we were just getting an idea. We haven't made the budget on it yet, so when that time comes, we'll talk about how we're gonna spend the money, and I don't think that's gonna be an issue, because you're not filling those right now. You're not gonna fill those until the money comes in, is that right?
More than likely, yes.
Yeah, because you still have
I
open
still have it
position.
open, yeah, I still have 2 other ones open, yeah.
Yeah, so, anyway, all right.
Okay.
Anything else?
I look, just for me, I looked at this, contract for buildings building, and there are some things about, and I've talked to you earlier about the insurance, about the people that come in, they're trying to build a building. When we have to make, when we build bridges and stuff like that, and what are those security?
They're bonds, and if it's over 100,000, it's one type of bond, and, plus the liability insurance also. But I'll have to go back and look at the statute again, but there's a performance bond, and then there's another type of bond. So if it's over 100,000, then it's a different bond.
Is that gonna be with this building?
Well, I've read that, and I mean, yeah, it should be in there, I mean.
Because I've had some people contact me that I sent those things out to, and there's this insurance is, and they said they couldn't do it.
You know, we talk about that every time. We try not to have to do that, but if it's above a certain amount, I think it's the 50,000 by law, we have to have that put in there. We have to have an architect to design it. You know, we would have saved a lot of money if we hadn't had an architect and all that insurance and all that, but by law, it's not our choice, by law. That's
Used to
what
be
we
the
have
same
to do.
thing at school.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that Limestone County did the same thing when they built theirs?
Well, it was built in with their jail, is my understanding. It's a part attached to their jail.
Could we not say ours was built in precinct 3 Bond?
You can say that. We tried to read it every way we could to get around it, but
Try to get y'all to put the dispatch in that point, y'all didn't do it. I could move precinct 3 into precinct 3, get it out of precinct 1.
well, it's not too late. It's not too late. I don't think we have any people that have turned in an application, have we? We could just redo it. If you.
Andy don't want that old bit.
Oh, sorry.
see what bids come in on the building.
And then we'll have to discuss it, yeah.
I had one contractor that's not from Freestone County, they called me about it and was interested in, said he's gonna turn in a bid on it.
Be sure that we.
But that's the only one I've heard of,
to
so
the-
that is one
I just had one.
That, guy from Tyler, somebody gonna call me, so they couldn't compete.
This guy was out of Conroe, but I don't know, no references, never heard of it or nothing.
Yeah. Well, I know that the architect puts that out too on their websites and things.
Do we know we're gonna have another meeting as far as the dispatch is concerned? After their city meetings?
We haven't set a date, but it will be soon. We haven't talked yet to Wortham.
I've talked to Wortham and she was supposed to call your office a couple times, so I don't know if she did or not.
I haven't gotten a call.
I called your office a couple times last week, needing some information, I never got a call back either. And I don't know if you got the message or not.
Anything else?
I'll make a motion with adjourn.
Second.
All right.